Welcome to the Official Personality Guru. Loss is never really enjoyable to endure, even for those who can cope well with it. Having to deal with losing something or someone can be one of the most painful experiences. There are many different kinds of losses we can experience in life. Sometimes, this is death, and other times it is simply a change that forces us to lose something meaningful. Whether it be a small loss or something major, experiencing letting go of something so important to you can be truly painful, and for some, it is overwhelming. Each person has their way of processing these feelings. For some, the idea of letting go hits them much harder, and for others, it is something they seem to handle much better. ENFPs tend to have one of two reactions to grief. Some ENFPs will want to just get away from everyone and everything and go somewhere new to process their feelings. Others will seek out the comfort and support of people they trust. They will not usually open up to people who aren't especially close to them. They will try to understand the meaning of what happened. If there was a death involved, they may consider things like the afterlife, the meaning of life, how short life is, and other big picture questions. While they seek support, they will also want to give it to others who are grieving. They are good at listening to others and providing empathy and assistance. It is important, however, that they not get stuck in the role of supporter for too long and forget to take care of their own needs. It is also important that they give themselves time to process the emotions privately. If ENFPs don't find a means to deal with their grief, or if despair or stress is ongoing, they may go through a grip stress phase. When this happens, they become uncharacteristically focused on details and tying up loose ends. They can develop tunnel vision and obsess over a project that needs to be finished. Some ENFPs develop physical symptoms and when in a stress phase, can worry that their symptoms are the sign of a serious life-threatening illness. Today, let's talk about how the ENFP copes with the many forms of loss. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to the Official Personality Guru and ring the bell icon to get regular updates on our latest uploads. And if you like this video, click the thumbs up button and share it with your friends. ENFPs are likely to feel stressed when their life is too predictable or consistent, since they naturally enjoy being able to regularly experience new opportunities. ENFPs are likely to grow bored with sameness. However, when they are able to incorporate small changes and have room to continually try new things, even in little ways, they are likely to feel more energized and comfortable. They tend to feel drained when they're alone for too long. ENFPs enjoy the company of others and are less likely to thrive when they're lonely. They're likely to resolve this issue on their own, since they tend to seek out connections with others when they can. ENFPs tend to feel frustrated when they lack the freedom or independence to assert their own authority and work at their own pace. As long as they're given enough personal autonomy and don't feel restricted by a tight schedule, ENFPs will likely feel comfortable. They're easily stressed by conflict with others. ENFPs like to keep the peace, so they're likely to feel uncomfortable addressing tense topics with people they care about. However, they should work to see and understand the value in working through a problem before it builds into something bigger. ENFPs tend to feel very disappointed when their expectations aren't met. Their natural idealism may help them stay optimistic, but it can also make it difficult for them to accept failures or disappointments. With the practiced self-awareness, though, ENFPs are likely to bounce back from this quickly. When ENFPs face stressful or draining tasks, they may shut down in other aspects of life. While we all have to face stress at different points in life, there are plenty of times where it can be avoided. In the case of an ENFP, they should try to engage with things that keep them motivated and energized, like keeping up with friends and looking for new experiences, avoiding tasks that place unnecessary strain on them. Openly addressing stress and doing what excites them will help prevent frustration and exhaustion for ENFPs. ENFPs deal with loss in their way, but it can be difficult for them to fully move on from these feelings. ENFPs experience things very deeply. and their emotions can be overwhelming at times. While ENFPs do care about expressing themselves and connecting with others, sharing their inner feelings isn't always as easy for them as people might think of expecting. Since they are such outgoing people, others can often assume that they share what they are going through. But sometimes ENFPs want to put an happy face in front of others. This depends on the ENFP and the things they have been through in their lives. But being able to express that pain isn't always that easy for them. Accepting loss. Accepting the loss isn't always easy for the ENFP. Even though they are more conscious of their emotions, their inner feelings are important to the ENFP. But that doesn't mean they always know how to deal with them or healthily process them. They feel things so deeply, and the loss can be something that weighs heavily on their heart. They want to be able to continue moving forward, but sometimes letting go is difficult. When the loss is something very serious, like losing someone they love, the ENFP might not want to fully accept this. Sometimes holding on to the connection is more natural than trying to let go and move on. For the ENFP, it depends on the person and just how important they were to them. They are aware of their pain, and they do know how to accept it to some extent, but the process can be a long one for the ENFP. There are times when the ENFP turns to distractions instead of fully accepting what has happened. Their extroverted intuition is their dominant function, and so this is often what drives them forward. They might find that it is easier to bounce around and try to find new projects and places to keep their minds focused on something else. When the loss is too overwhelming to accept right away, finding ways to keep their minds elsewhere. When the feelings are difficult for them, the ENFP just needs time to distract themselves for a while. Instead of drowning, they need to keep their busy minds moving. And sometimes being somewhere new helps them to process everything on better terms. For some, this can seem like running away, but for the ENFP it is something or sometimes necessary. They feel things on such a personal level, and so it isn't always easy to express these feelings right away. They need this time, so long as they eventually come to terms with what is going on. How about you, as an ENFP or any other personality type? How do you cope with the many forms of loss? Be sure to watch until the end and share your experience for a chance to have your comment pinned. Their process. When the ENFP experiences a serious loss, their first response is either to escape somewhere new or to turn to people they love. It often depends on the severity of those emotions and just how much the ENFP has matured when this loss occurs. The less mature ENFP might need to escape completely and go find somewhere new to keep their minds distracted from their feelings. They need to keep moving so that they don't feel weighed down by the overwhelming emotions of the situation. They might use this as an escape or a way to avoid those negative emotions for a while. Sometimes, this helps the ENFP to process everything, though, and it can be good for them if they learn to accept what they are feeling through this process. ENFPs aren't always great at being open when they are depressed or in pain, as they don't want to burden people or weigh them down. They might put on a happy face and pretend like everything is fine when they are feeling truly upset or pained by the situation. The ENFP who has been taught to be strong in front of others might be afraid of showing this pain. They don't want to have these feelings be rejected or judged by someone, and so they don't always trust easily enough to open up about them. When the ENFP does trust the people close to them, they often need to seek comfort when they are struggling with a serious loss. They might also need time to themselves at first, to wallow and allow themselves to just let those feelings out. They need to feel free to be depressed for a while and not feel like they are being judged for this. Having people around them who know and who shows how to support and can lift them when they are struggling is truly important for the ENFP. Just feeling that closeness and knowing that they are loved is something the ENFP needs to heal. Before we continue, if you enjoy the video, make sure to give us a like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the Official Personality Guru for more amazing videos. Don't forget to ring the bell icon to stay updated with our content. Moving on. While ENFPs might be good at moving on in a more practical sense, they might struggle with actually letting go. When something or someone becomes a part of their heart, the ENFP doesn't want to let go of this, even when they have moved on and have continued to live their lives as if everything is fine. They're likely still holding on to that person or that thing from their past. For the ENFP, it is simply easier to keep moving and keep distracted than it is to find a way of letting go when they have lost something which means a lot to them.